Hey guys! While leveling in Midnight, you might have noticed this island off the coast of Zul'Aman, and wondered, what's in it? It is not present on the Kel'Thalas map, it is only visible while you're viewing Zul'Aman. If you try to fly there, you'll quickly be struck by debuff that teleports you off the island. This is very curious. Why are they trying to hide over there? And that's what we're going to explore in person, thanks to a certain out-of-bound trick. We're going to enter the Windrunner Spire, a dungeon in New Everstone Woods, as a demon hunter. Then, we're going to leap across the edge of the dungeon. Usually, we get teleported outside, because it counts as us leaving the dungeon, but occasionally, you'll remain inside. And then, if you move carefully, to avoid being thrown out, you can leave the starting area of the instance and start exploring. So we are still inside the dungeon, but the area mirrors Everstone Woods precisely. Our hope is that this alternate version of the outer world is including the secret Zul'Aman island, Atal'utek, and that Blizzard didn't carry it off from the instance. We will show up on the map, just like if we were outdoors in the real Azeroth. But we cannot mount at the start, until we approach Tranquillen. That's where ground mounts become enabled. We also cannot fly here. As you can see, whenever we try to use a flying mount, it instantly dismounts us. Before we head to the island, I took a trip through Silvermoon, and it is a real ghost town. Not a single NPC is present in this dimension, which feels very eerie, since this place is usually full of people. Infernal Leap, or Heroic Leap, doesn't work at all, and the portal room is without portals. The closest thing to life I found was an instrument playing itself. Let's start venturing east to Zul'Aman. 2 friends will join us, so we don't feel so lonely.
I've heard people say that WoW is optimized. It's not.
You can duel in here. Something silly we realized is that dueling is enabled inside a dungeon.
Wait, is that a way to get PP talents working inside?
That's really odd.
Press anything.
Oh wait, if you could do that, couldn't you like do ice wall and shit?
Yeah.
Well, Zul'Aman is present in this dimension, which hopefully means the island is present as well. And it seems to be. But we did encounter a tiny obstacle that hinders us from reaching the island.
Like I said, I have no idea if the water will DC you or not. I'm just assuming it can.
This is water, I'm going straight in.
Yeah, you can try that.
You could try it.
I DC'd,
It seems like we disconnect whenever we enter water. This is quite weird. Blizzard has disabled swimming inside a specific dungeon. No clue why. Well, I'll relog and send a pair of inflatable mount shoes to walk on water. Then we can try to venture across. We are now approaching the island, and we are not thrown out yet, so it seems to work. It is just very foggy. To solve this, we're using a stinky bright potion, which will allow us to see if it was daytime. We move along the shoreline until we find a way to actually step onto the island. And here, we can finally make landfall. First thing we are greeted by is a zone filled with poison. And there seems to be something odd on the ground. Boxes or something? Wait, look. It's something you shouldn't... Look, they are boxes. It's like those...
No.
Oh, what the fuck?
Delete me boxes.
What's it called?
Delete me, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
That's
right,
like
they usually
little
say
name.
Oh, I crashed.
Oh.
Don't walk into the boxes. I crashed.
We wanna avoid the poison, so we don't get disconnected. But the Infernal Leap still says no path available, so we gotta maneuver carefully. Anyhow, this area of the map doesn't have anything out of the ordinary. Poison, some snake statues, is pretty much the main thing. The buildings are also all shut. The next area we're visiting is just to the west of the poison. It is a platform with flying boxes. I would assume they're placeholders for flying NPCs or critters. It also has an open building we can enter, a crypt. Since this island is still work in progress by Blizzard, there hasn't been any music added to it, but the crypt do play a haunting melody. Now, we're going to head south. We are heading towards another section of the island. After reaching what seems to be the center, there are more boxes, there is lava, this definitely feels like our main questing hub, or some other important area. Well, let's continue even more south. Sadly, the map isn't discovering anything for us, so knowing where we are and where we have been can be a bit confusing. I bet this is the entrance to a raid or something. There are so many placeholders here, and to the right you can see a box that's way bigger than the rest. Another reason I think this might be a raid is because my friend Woof got stuck and couldn't move his character at the exact spot which looked to be an entrance if a portal was here.
What happened? Why can't I move anymore?
Can't move anymore.
Are you stuck?
Are you in the raid?
Yeah.
Are you like loading into?
Even Vengeful Retreat didn't move him.
See if we
I
Can you
think
jump on
my
the map?
character location is
Take it with me?
decent because I can. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Wait,
Very
I'm
good.
tried.
Jump off.
I can't jump off.
I couldn't replicate this bug myself.
Yeah, I can't move or anything. I can cast my mount, it seems, but I can't move.
It's very weird. We went southwest, and there was an entrance to a bigger crypt.
Is this a delve, you think?
Should we go in?
Why am I still mounted?
An interesting thing in this dungeon, or at least this area, is you can remain on mounts even indoors. You're just prevented from mounting up.
If it doesn't
That's pretty
disconnect.
Wait,
cool.
I can move now. What the hell?
Oh shit, look at this.
And furthest into the crypt, it even counts as if you're outdoors.
I can mount here. Look, you can mount here.
Oh, hold on.
What?
Now we have explored the center, part of the south, and part of the north. So we took a forest path to get to the front of the island, the part you see from Zul'Aman. Now I'm going to remove the Stinker Bite potion, and you can see how spooky this island is.
Oh, it looks so cozy when you have no vision. It looks very like a...
Feels very Dead by Daylight. I decided to wall climb to give us all a better look at the surrounding areas, specifically to the east, across the broken bridge. As I started to ascend, it got really foggy without the stinky potion. I spent a total of 1 hour climbing, and here you see aerial footage of the west part of the island. And here we glide toward the remaining parts to the east. Do you see something weird? This part in the water looks quite odd. Keep it in mind, we'll get back to it soon. First, we're exploring the southeastern part, I assume. There are no placeholder boxes left anymore, so maybe this area is more complete, or tested. It is forest dense and without poison. Let's go and check out the whirlpool. You guys see what I see? It's a dungeon portal. Now, I cannot reach it, because remember, if we dive into the water, we'll disconnect. There's also a haunting spiritual sound coming from the vortex. Quite creepy. We can even see a summoning stone. So yeah, this is definitely a future underwater cave dungeon. Now we are leaving the map fully and exploring the eastern part of the island. Here we have an undead inspired area. You see ghostly voodoo buildings. Surely some undead NPCs are gonna be added here later. Rest seems kinda the same. Nothing out of the ordinary, and we can't even see us on the map anymore. Last place to explore is the northeastern part of the island. Here we have a cave which is empty, but we do have an interesting soundtrack playing. A track I don't recognize, but it's surely part of the Zul'Aman track. Or is it? If anyone knows which theme this is, feel free to share. Now we're heading to the swamp. Still no placeholder boxes, instead we see actual fireflies. I would say this part is quite similar to the rest of the island. Perhaps we'll make landfall here at the harbor. That's the whole island, I think. Since there is no map, I decided to make my own to show you how it could look. I also double checked to make sure I didn't miss anything. I tested the poison. Thankfully, it didn't DC us. And of course, I tried to swim to the dungeon. But we got instantly disconnected after diving a single frame. Now we want to go south to see how far or how much of Eastern Kingdom is this small instance actually rendering. There is no fatigue on my map. Well, there is no fatigue at all. Does this mean we can explore the whole ocean? And I have no clue why, but the Great Sea is a sanctuary in here. The Great Sea is a sanctuary. What? Yeah, the two, right? There are invisible walls, so we can't explore straight out in the ocean. But I think we can see Twilight Highlands from here. Can we get to Undercity?
Yeah.
Rex, it says you're in Outland.
It doesn't show us being in any zone at all. We have really broken out of Azeroth. Well, Eastern Plaguelands is of course empty of NPCs. Why haven't we go down here? Who wanna go down first?
Can we enter?
But we're able to enter the Paladin Order Hall. Sanctuary, Lightfang Chapel, inside the dungeon.
That's really cool.
We're gonna test Stratholme to see if we can zone into an instance while already being inside one. The dungeon entrance. We can enter it, but sadly no loading. This looks just like it always has, and I'm afraid there's no way for us to enter Old Naxxramas to get Corrupted Ashbringer. I wish.
I mean, the portal to the raid's always been there, but it doesn't do anything.
Oh, what? You can walk in.
It is still floating in here. untextured. Okay, next idea. What about the portal to Old Ghostland? Does this work?
Can't click on it.
I'm afraid not.
It does nothing. No. Oh, sad.
Let's start heading south. How far can we get?
Yeah.
Hinterlands is still present inside the dungeon. And taking the tunnel south to out the Highlands makes something weird happen.
Oh.
Whoa, you're running in the ground for me.
What? You guys are running above
You
the
disappeared. Yeah, you're on the ground.
ground. You're up above the ground.
Are you in? Wait,
are you?
Rex, do you know if you have old or new or
I have
rough
old.
on this?
Old. Old.
Yeah, okay, so that's why.
I see older of the Highlands, but Woof and Elidaro is seeing the new one. We are however not being phased away.
It's weird I would still use the instant or the version of Arafi that you've chosen.
What about escaping these back rooms by using the boat in Mentil Harbor? Well, they never came. We are truly stranded in this dimension. Let's head to Stormwind, see if they actually rendered the whole Eastern Kingdoms for this tiny dungeon.
But actually, how can they render in a whole continent for a small dungeon? Right, that's insane.
Loch Modan is empty. The orb to enter the Blacking Lair raid is not here. We found some food, which means someone has definitely been here recently. Lakeshire is empty, except some birds flying in the sky. Seeing Goldshire on Argent Dawn, this lifeless, is actually a first. Stormwind, of course, is also empty. Not even the interactable banks are present here. The throne is vacant. And the Deepron tram doesn't work. We were thinking about anything cool to see in this alternate world. Or a way to escape. We ran all the way to Stranglethorn. Sadly no zeppelins are here, working, neither are any boats in Booty Bay. Well, at least now we know the whole Eastern Kingdom is fully rendered. Our final destination is a dark portal in Blasted Lands, and something weird happened as we approached it.
Maybe. Wait, why am I DCing now? I approached the dark portal and I DC'd. I'm not even at it, I'm just like running towards it.
It seems like the dark portal, for some reason, has a massive disconnection shield around it. We're not able to get close. Even approaching from different angles doesn't help. My party member disconnected as well, so it wasn't just me.
Oh my god. Insta DC when I went past that point.
Right, me too.
Why would you DC for going here then? Like realistically, what could be here that's causing that?
I'm afraid we never made it to the dark portal.
Oh, I ran
Instead, we got stuck in an infinite DC loop. So that's the end of our adventure. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more. Bye bye!
Oh no.